Hello and welcome to Monkey's Paper Palooza Craft Corner. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of our two-part series on the My Monthly Hero 2018 kit. And to start, I just want to thank everybody for subscribing. We have reached 1,000 subscribers, so stay tuned to the end for a wonderful coupon. So to start our card making today, we are going to first stamp an image of that ice rink that came with the kit. And what I'm going to be doing is layering these stamps to make a scene on this panel. And I apologize for this spotty lighting. My light seems to be going. I'm currently trying to figure out the best lighting system now for my new studio because this one seems to be going. So I apologize now for the lines. So I put on the ice rink, the lamp, and the bench. I'm going to move my stamping platform out of the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend some Distress Oxide on this panel. So I'm going to use this little scrap piece of paper as my horizon line. And I'm just going to blend it in. Actually, I think first I'm coming in with Faded Jeans. And then I'm going to come in with Broken China. And I'm trying not to put anything on the image. I really should have masked this before I did this, but of course I did not plan that ahead. I was thinking that I'd color over it, but I think it might be too dark. So I'm just going to put in another piece of scrap paper over that square part of the image. That way it doesn't become too dark to color over. A little bit won't be a big deal because then when I color over this with my Arteza markers. Alright, so now I'm going to come in with my brown Arteza marker and I'm just going to color in my bench. I'm not doing anything fancy, no shading, just basically going over it a couple times. And I'm also going to give that a little glow. But I'm also going to come in with some fossilized amber distress ink and just put a glow around it. I did find that it did mute my blacks, so I'm just going to go over this with my Arteza marker just to brighten it up a little bit. And of course I'm going to do the black on posts of this bench. And now coming in with my ice blue just to give it a little bit of glare to that ice. Now, I was going to use this ice scare, but I feel like she's too tall spatially wise. So I'm going to go with this girl instead. So I'm going to stick some foam Scotch foam adhesive squares behind this girl. And we're going to get her all set up so that she's three-dimensional on the ice. But before I do any of that, let's put a panel of craft foam behind our panel. I'll take out my adhesive and just cover that with that. And since there was no water, I just lightly adhesed it because we don't have any warping. And I've also got this beautiful kind of periwinkle card form that I'm going to use for my card base. So I'm going to stick that right on there. And like I said before in the last video, this stamping platform really does revolutionize how you stamp. It kind of makes it a little easier, so you don't have to be so worried about, oh no, I forgot to do this, timing. I felt my Stamp Perfect, I had to time everything perfectly because I forgot something. I had to just do it on a white paper. I kind of like not doing that if I don't have to. But with this one, I feel like I can. I can just do it later. All right, so I'm also going to take some of my lacquer pen and I'm going to go over this ice rink just to give it that glare like ice would have a shine. You saw in the last video I did this with the boy and girl on the ice rink, except I did it after I applied them. So I'm going to show you how you can do it before you apply the person. Now you could sit there and let it dry like I was going to, and it wasn't completely dry yet when I put her on, or you can just put her on. The adhesive and the glue will still stick together. And now I'm going to put some of my chessboard rhinestones on the sky part of this image, and it's going to act like stars. So it almost looks like snowflakes too, but I'm just going to put them as stars. And I'm using my Zig 2-way glue to do this. I will be doing in the next video a review on 5 different types of glue pens, and we're going to test them all out and see what benefits each of them have, because sometimes not one is better than the other, but they all have wonderful benefits that could be used for different techniques. So here we are. We're going to stick her down on the ice rink like so. And there we go. Isn't that a fun card? It has some glitter in it, some gloss, and it's still got that shine. So like I said, the stamp platform also helps if you want to put a sentiment on the front of your card. You can now not have to wait and make one beforehand. You can do it right at the end because of the unhinged top, which makes it a lot easier to put all this fun stuff on it. So for this next card, we are going to make a framed card. We are going to take the glitter paper that came in the kit, and we're going to use it to make a triple frame. Actually, maybe I'll just do a double. I think I'm going to just do a double. I was going to do triple, but I think we're going to do a double. Because I think if I put the other layer, I think it's going to be too small of a window. Now, I didn't line this up perfectly, so I'm going to trim down the excess green I have hanging over my purple. And I'm going to stick that over a panel of white cardstock. Now, I stuck on the images of the tree, and the tree I did do in the 3-dimensional cut. So what's cool is you can also do your 3-dimensional cut on your stamped image too. It doesn't just have to be on a plain piece of cardstock. You can use it to cut out your tree also and really give it some fun dimension. So I'm going to play with these branches a little bit because I want some of them to stick out over the frame. So I'm going to pull them up a little bit so that I can slide that frame underneath them. I also did the triple stacked animal, putting something on the tree, which I'm going to add an ornament to that. And of course I stuck it down wrong, so let me try this again. And of course couldn't get it straight, so we'll end up trimming off that white edge. Let me fuss this tree up a little bit. One of you suggested too, which I have seen it done, putting craft foam pieces underneath the branches just to keep them lifted up. It can be done. It is a little tedious, especially with these littler branches that we have going on. With this die, I have seen it with the bigger dies, and they do work really well doing that. But I felt the branches on this one were really tiny, so I didn't want to fiddle with that. So I trimmed down the panel, and now I noticed I had a little spot where my adhesive stained the card, so I'm going to cover that up with a cute little dove that came in the kit. First, let me try to get those pieces out for you. Alright, so there's the little dove, and I think I'm also going to add a star. Sometimes when you goof up, all you need to do is just add another element. And I figured, well, the dove would be really cute adding the star, so that will work perfectly. And it covers up my goof up. Now, I was trying to figure out the best way to put an ornament in the mouse's hand. So I decided just to enamel a little die cut ornament. So I just took the ornament and I cut it out, and then I dipped it in some silver embossing powder just to give it a little glitter. And now I'm putting this card on a polka dot card form. I thought it'd be fun to add some kind of rainbow polka dots in the background. Sorry if my throat seems a little, my voice seems a little off today. I have it coming down with a little bit of cold. I was trying to do this voiceover later on, but it's like I didn't want to delay the video any longer, so I figured my throat's feeling a little better, so I think I'll do it today. So if I sound a little nasally, it's because I got a cold. So I'm stamping Merry Christmas in, I believe it's Sweet Plum. Actually, I'm going to cut that out in a little flag that I'm going to attach to the bottom, which is a little off screen. Sorry about that. And I'm going to cut that down into a little sash. And I'm going to put some adhesive on it and stick that to the front. And like I said, once again, now because of this platform, I can put the sentiment in after the fact. I don't have to sit there and try to plan it out as much. It kind of makes it foolproof, which is kind of cool. I really do like the freedom that this is the We Are Memory Keepers Precision Press Advance, the new one that came out, and it's so much better. It's so much fun to use. I'll put a link to my other videos with them on it. That way you can see all the features that it has. Alright, so once again I'm taking out the tree die that we had with the kit. And it's a fun layering die, so you can just fiddle with the branches and make a fun three-dimensional kind of tree, or you can even emboss it. I've seen some people just emboss it, not even pull out the branches, and it's really fun too. Especially if you do some distressing over it, it actually makes some really fun texture. So I'm coming over this with some broken china. And I'm just making a kind of swirly, kind of night sky. I'm not perfectly blending in these skies because, well, skies have different tones and hues to them. And I'm going to spread this with some water, just to give it a fun effect. Activate those distress oxides. Pat it dry with a cloth, and then I'm going to do something even more fun with this. I'm going to take out some of my Distress Oxide, not my Distress Oxides, my Distress inks. And I'm taking out, I believe, picked raspberries, I believe it's orange marmalade, and is it Twisted Citron? I think so. But I'm going to make kind of an Aurora Borealis kind of look to it, where I'm going to put some colors in the background. And my panel is a little wet still, so it's kind of having a fun effect, almost like a watercolor effect. So I'm going to adhere this tree, and I'm going to do it down the center and around the edges, because that's the best way to adhere this this die, excuse me, without losing the three-dimensional part. And I've also cut a little snowdrift out of the silver glitter paper. And I'm going to trim it down so it fits the panel. I'm going to adhere my tree right on the top of it and then fiddle the branches a little bit. And then I'm going to put this beautiful little deer that came in the kit on there. And I'm going to do him in some Scotch foam squares. That way he kind of pops out. And I'm going to stick him right here on this corner, looking at the tree. Alright, so we're going to pop this up on some craft foam. And of course my ruler ran out of tape right there, so we'll get our new one. And there we go. We'll put some more on the back side of this, give us our lift. And I have this fun little striped blue card form I'm going to use. So here we're going to come with the platform again. And I'm going to take some of that same pearl that I did the tree in. And I'm going to stamp, if I can get it straight, Winter Wishes. And I'm going to do that, and it looks like in Bahama Blue. And I'm going to cut that out into a little sash to put on the top here. And I think I'm just going to, I'm going to put some foam Scotch adhesive squares just to give it a little bit more dimension. Get that little corner. And there's that. But we're not going to leave that there. We are going to have some fun and add some stars to the sky. No, I changed my mind. I was going to use my chessboard rhinestones as the stars, but I think I'm going to use the stars that came in the kit. Only because it kind of goes beautifully with the back colors of this card. Plus, I wanted to use them again because I haven't used them for a little while, so let's get those in there. I used them in the first video, but it's like, let's use them again so that you can see them in this video also. They're fun. They're kind of blue and clear iridescent stars, so they're kind of perfect for this background. So now we can put our sentiment inside the card. Like I said, we don't have to worry about timing. Timing used to be an issue with the hinged backgrounds. With this one, we do not have to worry about since it's free. So we're going to put in, I think it is Happy Tidings. And I'm doing it in the same Bahama Blue ink. And there's that pretty little card with all that glitter and glitz. Alright, so for this last card, we are going to put together a shaker card. But first, I had stamped out an image of this tree, but I hadn't put the garland on it. But I wanted to put the garland in a silver embossing powder. So I am going to put it on now. So I've got them lined up on my precision press, and I'm going to quickly put some embossing ink on it, but first I'm going to powder it, so of course it doesn't stick to any wet ink, just in case my ink is still wet, though it shouldn't be. I had colored these previously so they wouldn't be wet. And I'm going to put in, I believe it is the Hero Arts Silver Glitter embossing powder, because I wanted to have that silver, but I also wanted to have a little glitter in it too. Now here comes the tricky part. When you get to the bottom of the tree, little garlands are way too small for it. So you're going to have to double up. So you're going to have to put one kind of kitty corner. And I found the easiest way to do it is to do two of them layered, because one is a star and one is a kind of like a ball. And we'll do one half of it first. And then we'll go come in and we'll do the second half, just to make it look like it's draping in both ways. Because I was trying to figure out the best way to do this, because it's like there's got to be a way to use this garland on the bottom. And I was like, I figured it out. So we'll do that. And I did cut this out just in the outer layer of the tree die. That way you can get just the image of the tree. And there, now we got a perfect little garland on it. And as you can see what's on top, but there's going to be a fun little animal scene in this card. So we're going to take our panel, and we're going to take Broken China out again. And we're going to just stress this background. Alright, so now that I have a good looking little panel, I'm going to spritz it with some water, just to get that activation of the distress oxides. Clean up my workspace a little bit. I'm going to heat set this panel just to make sure it's nice and dry. Alright, now that's dry, we're going to take a Spellbinder's oval die, and I'm going to cut an oval in it. And I've also made a little snowdrift out of some of my pearl paper. And then I'm going to just make sure it's adhered well, and then trim it down to the size of the panel. So let's get all our parts of our shaker card ready here. We're going to cut a panel of acetate to go down on the back end of it. So we're going to adhere that to the back of this front panel that we just created. And there is our little window. So now I'm going to adhere the little parts of our window before we put any of the fun little shaker stuff inside, because it's better to do this on a flatter surface, whereas if I put the foam on first and did it after the fact, it would just buckle it and it wouldn't be good. So I'm going to put the tree, and I'm not too concerned that most of the window is covered by the tree, because the shaker part is just going to be a background effect. I'm going to put the little raccoon on, the deer, But I'm going to put a little Christmas ornament in his mouth first. Actually, maybe I'll do it after the effect. I just realized I forgot to color his ears. I was like, poor little thing, doesn't have his ears colored. Alright, there we go. Put the little ornament in his mouth, and then we're going to do the animal stacker. And add that to it. And also put a little ornament in the mouse's hand. I thought these little animals were adorable. Because, oh my gosh, it's like the chaos that goes with animals decorating a tree. The raccoon wrapped in the Christmas lights, the animals stacking up to reach the top of the tree. And then we got one dove carrying the star and the other one carrying an ornament. So now that I got those elements in the front where I want it, I'm going to take some Scotch foam tape and I'm just going to cut some strips. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you guys so you can see better. One of the new things that came with my new office now is a new tripod to record these videos. But now I'm having issues with lighting because the issues were my light's probably either dying or it is, well, losing its bulb. I don't know. One of the two things is happening. So I'm going to come over here and just lay some foam squares on this. This is the same stuff as the foam squares. The only thing different is it's in tape form. I had bought some because I had run out of my squares, and I'm glad I had some because I ran out of my Tombow. And while I was waiting for some to come to me, I said, well, we still got to make a card. This stuff is a little narrower than the Tombow, so you can't put as much sequins in it. So I have this pretty snowflake shaker mix that I have on the site. I'll put a link down below for it. But it's got beautiful blues, whites, iridescence, and snowflakes in it, which I thought was perfect for this little scene. And I'm just going to put a white panel on the back. I'm not going to stress Oxide or anything, just to give it that contrast. Because there's a lot of blue in the shaker parts, so I didn't want it to overdo it. So I'm going to trim down my shaker card. Like I said, that's the trick. If your panel's a little better for your panel in the back to be a little bigger than a little too small. So that way you can always trim it down to meet the perfect size panel. Versus trying to cut it perfect and then sticking it wrong and then having it not sit right. I've done that before and it does not help. So I have this fun blue polka dot card form that I'm going to use in the background. I love sometimes using and mixing colors with patterns because I think that makes it really fun for your card and it gives it some fun interest to your card versus just having a plain solid card form. After all, these cards are supposed to be fun, so let's have some fun with them. And there is that. Isn't that fun? I was going to put a sentiment in the front, but I think I'm just going to just put one inside. Because there's so much in the front of this card that there's no need for all this other stuff on there. So I'm going to put Merry Christmas in this card. And get that stuck in there. And here I am again doing it after the fact. And once again, sorry for the lighting issue. And I'm doing that in Bahama Blue. I recorded the first video and this video at the same time and just split it into two, and of course the whole video had this in it. Alright, so there is that little card. But I decided to give a little bit more interest to this. I thought, why not add the lacquer pen to the ornaments and the lights on these animals? Because Art ornaments, sometimes when they're glass, have a little glitz to them and shine. And so does the Christmas lights. So it's like, why not? Let's give it some added oomph, like I would say, and just give it a little bit of glitz. So I'm going to even do it on the star. And there we go. And it gives those ornaments a fun little shine to it, as well as the glitter in the snow. There's that card. Isn't that cute? Look at that glitter on the garland. So like I said, we have reached 1,000 subscribers, so help me celebrate by coming into the shop, and you will get 10% off by using the code, which is 1K thank you. And remember to check out Facebook, where we have our contest going on, and share your creations, and I will pick one lucky winner to get a $25 gift certificate. We also have Message Board Mondays coming up on every Monday starting on 10/22, and you have a chance to win a $5 gift card there, so definitely check that out. And that will be on Instagram. So if you liked our video, please check out the last uploaded video, as well as one specially curated just for you. And like always, we welcome you to like, subscribe, ring for notifications, and make sure to check out our newsletter sign up, where you can sign up for newsletters and crafty sales.